sponsored by Riverside.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Dugout Dads live and local sports podcast. I'm your host, Michael Hughes, with my co-host,
Jonathan Parker.
Well, our skills are questionable,
but our spirit is unstoppable.
Once again, guys, we welcome everyone to episode 5. We're just over a month in, Jonathan, and we're building every week. And happy to be here and happy to have you with me.
Yes, man. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's been awfully fun the last month, and man, I can't wait to see what the future holds. It's been a great Friday, I guess high school started for some on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A bunch of great football.
It was great football, great week of football, and you seen the hurricane come in, and it affected a few of the high school games when it looked like we really didn't have to change anything, right? And no rain showed up. We got a little rain yesterday, but Thursday night was a great night of high school football, especially for Smith County. Gornsville did keep theirs on Friday night, but Smith County did move theirs to Thursday night, and we'll start there, and we'll talk about that just for a couple minutes. But if Jonathan, you want to go ahead and do our weekly scores and recap, that'd be great.
Yeah, so this segment is sponsored by Infinity Promotions. Michael will have a little bit more information about them after I do this. Again, if you're looking to sponsor one of our segments, please reach out to Michael and myself. We've got some sponsorship opportunities available and would love to have you sponsor a segment. But on to some of the scores. We had Clay County defeating Monterey. A lot of zero scores this week, but Clay County beat Monterey 42-0. Forest beat Cannon County 28-12. Cookeville beat Lebanon 27-0. East Robertson beat Sycamore 40-0. Mount Juliet Christian beat Red Bull and Springs 34-0. White House Heritage beat Cheatham County 42-6. Westmoreland beat Jackson County 51-0. And, of course, some of our college games. Of course, Western Kentucky beat MTSU 49-21. Georgia State with a victory over Vandy, which is, an SEC school playing a G5 school. That's not real good for the SEC. And then, of course, Tennessee, man, what a win last night. What a performance in the first half. I know Kent State, lower echelon, bottom half, but, man, put up 60 points in the first half and, ended up beating Kent State 71-0.
And you look at it, Jonathan, Tennessee come out and played lights out from the first quarter, set a new record for the program, 37 points in the first quarter. What a performance by Nico in that offense, and then the defense to shut them out and hold them to 0 points again. But even on top of the Tennessee game, we got to look at two other games I thought were very special this weekend. One, Florida State going 0-3. Yes. Memphis coming to Florida State. Florida State pays Memphis $1.2 million to come to their home field and beat them.
And, that's where Mike Norvell was from. That's where he came from, Memphis. And to have, to pay him 1.5 or 1.2, whatever it was, to come down to Tallahassee and, put it on them. Put it on them. And a lot of questions, I think, moving forward in Tallahassee for sure.
And then you look at the Kentucky and Georgia game. Kentucky played terrible against South Carolina last week and come out this week and leading Georgia all the way up to like 2 minutes to go in the game and then get beat 13-12.
Yes, and Kentucky had, after kind of getting spanked last week by South Carolina, really came out and really a gutsy performance. I'm sure the players got chewed on all week. And really and truthfully, I thought Kentucky should have won that ball game. Kind of a questionable punt there late in the ball game by Stoops to punt it away. But, why not go for it there and try to make something happen and hope to go win that ball game? But it was a really good ball game. I was back and forth between it and UT. But another game for me and another coach I think that's on the hot seat is Billy Napier in Florida. Yep. Getting down there and just getting shellacked by a Texas A&M team who was coming into that game 0-10, 0 in their last 10 on the road, and Texas A&M just put it on them. And you could see in the stands people were leaving well early in the third quarter.
Yeah, and you look at it too. The fire Billy Napier chants have cranked up and started in Gainesville right now, and they're looking to get rid of Billy Napier, right? And me and my wife was talking earlier, and she read a tweet or a post for somebody who said, "Bring Lane Kiffin to Florida, make Florida fun again." So I'm not sure that Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss to go to Florida, but the fire Billy Napier chance have started.
Absolutely, and normally Florida, a huge powerhouse in college football. With the Florida State and Florida programs, both kind of up in shambles, and then you look at Miami. Miami's looking like the Miami of old, and just really put it on the team they played yesterday. And man, outside of Miami, there's a lot of question marks in the state of Florida.
Yeah, let's move back over here to some more local and talk about
yes.
Let's talk about the Gordonsville Tigers coming in Friday night, bringing Joe Burns into town. Their first region matchup of the year, and pretty much dominate once again. Another dominate performance from the defensive side of the ball. We talked to Coach Jackson last week, and they had the kid that's a college. He's getting looked at by colleges, and the quarterback for Joe Burns, and he plays free safety for him. He was a good player, but Gordonsville reeled him in, and Gordonsville had another great night on offense and defense for the Big Blue.
Yes, and you look, Gordonsville wins that game, 48-14, total offense of 403 yards to 214. I mean, you're 2-1. Just what can't you say? You look at Bryson Grissom, 17 carries, 178 yards, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, just another. Averaging 10 yards a carry. I mean, what more can you say? This kid is just, and again, credit the offensive defensive line, but man, Bryson Grissom is on track right now for a Mr. Football finalist.
You're right, and Coach Jackson, he's got the wheels turning right now. They're sitting at 4-0. They get the Cab coming in next week, which is a good 4A program coming in. They're going to honor the 1984 state championship team, which will be a big night over there in Gordonsville. And but looking at the game, I went back and I watched it live while they were streaming. And you look at Bryson Grissom, who's had 4 straight great weeks of football. And then you got Jamario Williams, who comes into Gordonsville Friday night and has 3 touchdowns. He had a great night. And then you got Mason Cross, who had 90 yards passing. Jay Foster playing quarterback. Right now, like I said, Coach Jackson has the wheels turning.
Yes, and then, Dalton Hancock finally gets on the board with his first touchdown of the year. Just another option that, opening up the pass game for Gordonsville. Friday night, in my opinion, I think this coming Friday night is going to be a really good test for Gordonsville, but I also think it's going to be a really good test for DeKalb as well because to this point, both unbeaten. Buckle up your chin straps. This was going to be a good one this coming Friday night.
It's going to be a great matchup over at Turning Ford Field, and as we said, Gordonsville's front guys right now are really paving the way for this team. You watch them week to week; they've gotten better. You started out against Smith County, and they was really good, but then they moved to the week 4, and they really showed out. I feel like Friday night.
Yes, I agree. Region play, it's always going to be tough, and they put the game away early.
Yeah. So moving back over to the north side of the river and talk about Smith County for a few minutes. Smith County once again suffers their 4th loss of the season against a really great Macon County team. Macon County comes in with the Borders brothers that come in and the talented guy, the kid that's a quarterback for them. They got a little 3-headed monster there, and it was just really too much for Smith County. Now Smith County had chances to be in the game the whole first half. Smith County had chances. They're down 20-6, yet they've been in their own territory 2 times and turned the ball over.
Well, and Michael, like we've talked about, it's those little miscues that if they take 2 steps forwards, it feels like, and then they have to take 3 steps back. But you can see the wheels are turning, and you can see they're getting better. They're getting better. It's just eliminating those small miscues, those small missed assignments, and things are going to start turning around quick, I believe.
And when you look at it, you try to find a positive in every loss you have. And, we're looking at positives. Smith County's yet to get into region play. They've had 4 straight weeks of non-region play. They played 2 4A teams, the 1A team with Gordonsville, and then the 2A team, or a 3A team with Liberty Creek there. So it's going to be 5A next year anyway. But you look at it, and they've got yet to get into region play, and that's what you want to start getting better when it comes to region play. Yes, you want to win every game. Understand, you go into every game winning. But right now, region play matters. You want that playoff seed come the end of the year.
Yes, and, this week is it. This week sets them up. They travel to Trousdale County. We all know the history there. But a down year for Trousdale County. I think Coach Dyer and his crew are going to have the boys ready to go on the creek bank this Friday night and put together a really good effort against a rising team in Trousdale County. They're both teams have got youth, but you can see, like I've talked about, the pieces are coming together. The puzzle pieces are there. It's just putting together the complete ball game.
It is, and when you look at Smith County's right now in their offense. Their offensive running game is a little stagnant right now. They're not running the ball really well right now. I know that you always want to use the run instead of the pass. That's just the mindset of most football guys. But in Smith County's case, they're really throwing the ball really well right now. They're letting Riley Martin have a little bit of freedom, and he's throwing the ball really well. And then, as you mentioned earlier, it's just those miscues that you take that one great play, and then you have two bad plays in a row, and it just sets you back behind the chains. And you got to stay ahead of the chains. When you're not winning games, if you don't stay ahead of the chains, you're going to lose a lot more than you win.
Well, and you take a look at Riley's stats from this past week against Macon County. He was 10 for 20 for 179 yards against a really good 4A team.
Yeah.
So, 17 yards of completion. That's good in my book. Again, it just goes back to the little things and paying attention to detail. And look, I know all the coaches are telling these kids that, and it's going to click. It's going to click at some point in time.
It is, and you look up front against Macon County. Smith County was outmanned up front. Macon County's up front guys were big, they were mean, they were physical, and Smith County just couldn't hold up to it. And as I mentioned, their run game just wasn't there. And defensively, Macon County got those fast guys in the backfield. Yet Smith County actually burnt them a couple of times. Riley had a long touchdown pass to Wyatt Claywell for 60-something yards, if I'm not mistaken. Then he misses one to Jermaine Kaysen. He gets past the defense. And then you look right before the half, he has Jermaine Kaysen wide open, and the defensive guy comes up and knocks the ball down. So Smith County had plenty of chances, and we'll talk about this with Coach Dyer when he comes on here a little bit with us, and they had chances to be in the ballgame.
Yes. And that's all you want. Yeah, the scoreboard doesn't look good at 49-6, but some late scores in there made it a lot worse than what it was. But again, these boys you can tell the effort's there. It's just got to click.
It does got to click. And, like you said, we're going to the creek bank, and it's never, even Trousdale County, like you said, having a down year for the last couple of years. But when you go to the creek bank, it's going to be a matchup that you got to be more physical than they are, because they're going to come out, they're going to hit you. It's going to be their home turf, and it's always tough to go play on the creek bank anyway.
Absolutely. The history there, I like to call it, that there's history in that water that runs right beside that stadium each and every week. And, those kids from down there, they know the history, and they're going to be ready, and Coach Gregory is going to have those boys ready to play as well.
Yep. As we shift gears here, we're going to let Coach Jackson come in, and Coach Jackson come in and join us. Coach Jackson, we appreciate you coming on with us again this week.
Thanks,
yes,
Coach.
sir.
I think Coach Jackson's got a little internet issue going right there, but
we got you now. Yeah, we got you now.
We got you now.
All right, good
deal. Congratulations on your win. A tough Joe Burns team come in, and you guys, once again, you had a great offensive and defensive night. So congratulations first off on your win.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was a good night. Good night to be a Tiger.
Yes. Coach Jackson, what were some of the keys to victory on Friday night?
Well, I think the biggest thing was coming out fast. I feel like we, the last 2 years we had to go to Joe Burns, and we never started fast. They always took the ball, and I think it was last year that they took like 15, 16 play drive, didn't score. But just took the whole first quarter. We touched the ball, I think, one play in the first quarter. So we took the ball this year and was able to, start fast. They hit us in the backfield a couple times, just getting adjusted to what they was doing. But, the offense did a great job of, sustaining a drive and having a great first drive to put points on the board.
Coach Jackson, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Me and Jonathan was talking earlier, Coach Jackson. We feel like you guys are sitting at 4-0. You really got the wheels turning right now for what you guys are doing offensive and defensively. And you look at offensively, Bryson Grissom, once again, a stellar performance. It's 4 weeks in a row for this guy. He is having one heck of a year. And then you have Jamario Williams with 3 touchdowns. Your offense is really clicking, but I see it always comes back to the guys up front. Your guys up front are really paving the way for your offense right now.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about this before. We have a lot of upperclassmen in the offensive line and tight ends and fullbacks that have a lot of experience, and they've had seen. It's hard to throw something at them that's different, but they're doing a great job locking on. And I mean Bryce is doing a great job too. Their teams are +1 us in the box. I mean Joe Burns had a safety that was sitting about 6 yards, and it was their best football player. And Bryson, we'd pad everybody else up, and he had to make that one guy miss, and he did a great job of making him miss and having big gains.
Well, Coach Jackson, you've got a two-headed monster right now also at the quarterback position that, seems to be, Mason Cross and Jay both. I think you're trying to get Jay more acclimated and get him some more snaps. But man, they're playing well also.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. And, I mean, if those two guys can throw the football more, that's just going to get people out of the box, which is going to help our run game, and they're going to have opportunities, going forward with how well we're running the ball. And, people watching film, seeing us run the football, they're going to have opportunities to have one-on-one matchups. And that was, I think it was Mason that was quarterback when we threw a poster out to Dalton the other night for a 75-yard touchdown pass. It's one-on-one coverage because the safety's sitting at 6 yards. It's and he put it out there for Dalton to go get, and he made a heck of a play and heck of a run after catch.
And you talk about, you talked about last week the Joe Burns at the quarterback and their free safety. He was the best player on their team, but you guys done a great job defensively honing him in, keeping him in the box, and didn't let him get loose but maybe 1 or 2 times that I saw. You guys done a great job keeping him where he needed to be.
And that's what we talked about at halftime. We did a great job at first half and did a great job second half. But at first half, they had a series. We got up 27-0, and they had a series right there before half that they, went down and scored, that he got loose a couple times. And, a football player like that, you're not going to keep him to 0 yards. Every once in a while they're going to break. You give up 2 touchdowns. You respond the right way in a challenge, then you're going to end up having a good night. And that's what our kids did. They, kept him inside of them, make sure they have the right foot up, and make sure they, the safeties are filling alley.
Well, Coach Jackson, you've outgained Joe Burns 2-1, 400 yards to 200 yards. What do you feel like? You've got a 4A team coming in this week into Cab that's going to be bigger, stronger, more kids. What do you feel like, or what are you seeing from DeKalb that look forward to this coming Friday night?
It's going to be a huge challenge, but it's one that, week 5 of the season, it's a game that, really don't matter. We want to go 15-0. Everybody wants to go 15-0, but it's a non-district game. It's a measuring stick for us to see where we're at and what we've got to get better at before 2 more region opponents come and then the playoffs. But it's going to be a great challenge that, Coach Trapp and Coach Shaw, they do a great job at DeKalb, offensively and defensively. They got a really good quarterback that, I think had 250 yards rushing last week against Watertown, and maybe 200 in the first half. I mean, just a really good football player that he played quarterback against us last year. So we faced him before, and he's another guy that, you ain't going to hold him to 0 yards. You're going to have to limit his, on his touches, try to make him not have explosive run plays and, explosive pass plays. And then defensively, they're really active. They got a really good middle of the field safety. Webb, I'm not for sure his first name, but Webb's his last name, that he makes just about every tackle. If you run the football, he's in on the tackle. And, but he's not the only guy they've got. And to be honest with you, looking at the starters for them, they start 4 sophomores and 5 juniors. So, I mean, they're really athletic team that's only going to get better as the year goes. And then next year, that'd be really hard to beat.
And you look at it, not only do you come in, you have a good 4A team coming up, but you guys are honoring the 1984 state championship team this year at Turney Ford Field. What a great night. It's going to be a great night at Turney Field, to honor those guys that won that first state championship for the Tigers. I know you guys are, and you guys are excited about that as well.
Oh, yeah. That's, to be at 40 years, the first one to win a state championship around here and get those guys back. I mean, I'm excited about being able to talk to them. I know most of them. And talk to most of them, I guess, but there's some of them that I probably never met before. I mean, I was born in 85, so I never met some of them. So being able to meet those guys and, hear their stories, that's a big thing. I talked to somebody the other day about getting a video camera out and videoing these stories that these guys have got, because, I mean, it's just a awesome accomplishment for them that they had, but to bring them back and let our kids see that, it's going to be a great night.
Well, Coach Jackson, we appreciate you coming on with us. We continue the good work. Good luck against DeKalb, because from my perspective, I think it's the game in the Upper Cumberland area this week. And, man, I plan to be there and wish you all the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for doing this.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach Jackson.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
That was Coach Steven Jackson. Man, I said it last week. You can just tell how excited he is. And again, they're going to match up this week against a really good 4A opponent. But again, if they get the play that they're getting for their offensive and defensive line, I think DeKalb County's in for a long night.
I do too. And going for, like I say, it's going to be a great matchup. We've seen DeKalb play Smith County, and we know what DeKalb can do defensively, as Coach Jackson just alluded to. But, bringing them in and playing a good 4A team just to see, like Coach Jackson just said, just to see where your program's at. It is a test. It is a benchmark. It is a test to see how far you guys are along going into week 5 of the season. And, DeKalb County's not no slouch. They're going to come in and they're going to hit you as well. So it'd be a great matchup for Coach Jackson and the Tigers.
Yes.
So we got Coach Dyer that'll be on here with us in just a few minutes, but we'll touch on a little bit more of the Gornsville and the Joe Burns game. Going back and looking at the stats a little bit more, and you alluded on it too, with Jay and Mason both at quarterback right now. They don't lose anything. I don't see. You bring Jay in. Jay started the game and he run the offense. They went down the field and they scored a touchdown. And then you bring Mason in right after him in the next series, and they don't lose a step. That's sometimes when you're rotating quarterbacks, you're trying to look for that guy, right? You're always looking for that guy when you rotate quarterbacks. But right now, I think Gornsville have 2 guys.
Well, and you look at it from a stat perspective. I mean, they were 7 of 9 for over almost 160 yards. I mean, that's efficient. They did throw. Jay did throw the 1 pick. So you take that in there. They only had 1 incomplete pass. So that's efficiency in my book. So. Yes, the two-headed monster of Mason and Jay just continue to get the machine rolling.
Yeah, and you look at, and we keep, I know we keep going back to Bryson Grissom, but he's having a heck of a season for a senior running back. And you look, he was 3rd in the state in scoring right now, and he's close to probably 600-700 yards rushing right now, and he had 3, like you said, I think he had 2 touchdowns the other night. He is having an outstanding season so far.
Yes, I mean, kudos to him. I mean, he is having, like I said earlier, this week against DeKalb County, he goes out there and has another big performance. He's really going to put himself out there as a quote unquote Mr. Football finalist, early in the season.
Yeah, something we forgot to mention last week. We need to mention this every week. When we're talking about our stats and where we get our stats, without Shay Hale and Terry Collins at the Carthage Courier to give us this information, guys, we wouldn't have it. So shout out to those guys. Shay gives it to me every Sunday, and we appreciate her giving us the stats. We can go back and look at them. Now, we do watch the games, but we just don't have the stats. So thank those guys for giving us those stats as well.
100%. We couldn't do it without them. We do. We watch the games. We go back and watch them, but, they send us this information. It's very helpful.
And as we talked about, we're still having sponsorships. And as Jonathan alluded to when he first started, we had our first Infinity Promotions recap of the week this week, sponsored by Infinity Promotions. It's a great buddy of mine that owns his own print shop in Indianapolis. And anybody that needs that school gear or personal wear, you can go out and you can go out to their website and get anything you want. It can be embroidered, it can be screen printed, and we appreciate him doing that for us. And we're gonna have more from him. We may even have a sponsor night where he brings some sponsors on. But for Infinity Promotions, once again, promoplace.com. If you're looking for any kind of screen printing going on, any embroidery, you can reach out to him. You can contact them, and you can get on their website, and he'll get you fixed up. He does a lot of our stuff. And shout out to Infinity Promotions for our new Dugout Dads t-shirts. He done these for us. Once again, we appreciate Christy Preston for doing them. We added Infinity Promotions to do us some now. You'll see now we've kind of went to the orange logo. We've kind of changed a little bit. So we appreciate Stephen and at Infinity Promotions for doing that.
Yes, thank you very much, Steve. And while we're still waiting on Coach Dyer to come on, I'll do the week 5 matchups that are upcoming this week. We got East Robertson at Joe Burns. We got Pickett County at Livingston. Cumberland County at Macon County. Westmoreland at Monterey. Clay County at Portland. Jackson County travels to Red Bull and Springs. And then, of course, our 2 local teams, Smith County travels to Trousdale. And then DeKalb County, which I think is the game of the week, DeKalb County travels over to Turney Ford Field to play Gornsville.
Yep, and we can't forget about the big Saturday night matchup between the Volunteers and the Oklahoma Sooners. Yes. Tennessee rolling down to Oklahoma. College game days in town. What an atmosphere that's going to be down there in Oklahoma, in Norman, for the Vols to go down. And, the last time Tennessee went to Oklahoma, I think they beat Tennessee, or Tennessee beat them in Oklahoma, but Oklahoma beat us in Knoxville. So, we're going down, and that's going to be a huge Saturday night matchup.
Well, and you look, the kid returns. Josh Heupel goes back to Oklahoma, who, he was their it thing. I mean, he won a national title there in 2000, and that Tennessee, that the players are going to want this for Josh. They know how big this is going to be, and I know he wants it. He's not going to say it because it's coach speak, but you can just hear him talk. And, he calls everybody a nameless and faceless opponent, but this one's going to hold a little bit extra, Yeah,
it is. And, he's going down, he's going down probably with a chip on his shoulder. He got run out of Oklahoma. He got fired being the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach there. So, he's going down, and he's going to have a little chip on his shoulder as well. And also, I better not, my wife just commented on our Facebook Live, I can't forget about our local Smith County Middle School team, who plays their final regular season game tomorrow night against Upperman over here at Al Stadium down in the Hole tomorrow night at 6:30. So if you ain't got anything to do tomorrow night, I know Monday Night Football is on, but come watch the Smith County Middle School guys play Upperman tomorrow night.
Yes, come out and support those kids. I mean, those kids have worked really hard this year. I know it's not been the results that Coach Reed and the coaching staff has wanted, but those kids have put forth effort and worked really hard. So come out and support them tomorrow night, and give them a good send off, and they're especially the 8th graders.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and shift gears. We'll wait for Coach Dyer to be here in a couple minutes to the Smith County and Trousdale game. This is it's a rivalry that goes way back. And for some of you guys that's on maybe watching and listening to us, you remember way back in the day, the battle that happened with the helmets flying and the players fighting, between Smith County and Trousdale, which got them not to play for a few years. But we got this rivalry back. Smith County's won last year when, Trousdale County came to Smith County. Smith County won pretty easy last year. But I really do think this year could be a pretty close matchup.
Yes, and I do as well. I think both teams come in, not the season that they've wanted, but first region game. I'm not sure if Trousdale's played a region game yet, but just a great matchup. Like you were saying, some of our watchers probably played in some of those games back in the day, so they know what it's like. And both being a neighboring county, they know what to expect from both sides of it.
And they do, and I watched when Trousdale came to Gornsville, even though Trousdale's having a down year, they still travel well. Now it's being on the creek bank. You know it's going to be a big matchup, and you know there's going to be a lot of people there. So I'm sure Coach Dyer is fixed to come on with us. We'll talk about that a little bit, and I'm sure that that it's going to be a pretty intense atmosphere there Friday night.
Yes, I mean it always is. Always is.
Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and bring Coach Dyer in with us tonight. Coach Dyer, once again, we appreciate you joining us tonight.
Hey, Coach Dyer.
Guys, man, glad to be on with y'all. Like I said, appreciate y'all and everything you do, man. Y'all doing this right here. Y'all do a great job with it, man. And it's glad to be on with y'all.
And we appreciate it, and we'll go back and we'll recap a little bit about Friday night and what I saw, and we'll get your insights on it. But, from what I saw, Coach Dyer, you look at it, and Macon County comes in, and they're pretty overpowering. They probably out-athlete you guys a little bit. But if you look at it in the first half, you guys are down 20-6, but you was in your own territory twice. That could have made that a really, really close game.
It was, and you always talk about what ifs and buts and all that stuff. But, I think in the first half we had 3 possessions inside of Macon's 25-yard line, and we came away with 0 points. The first time was our first drive where we had the big play to Cole Hackett where we got down inside the 25, but we had a crackback block that brought that back. So instead of 1st and 10 from the 25, we had a 3rd and 1, I believe, from midfield. And we ended up converting that, but I think the 4 plays later, we get a 4th and 1 that we don't get. So we go from having a 1st and 10 close to the red zone to having to go for a 4th down around midfield, and we don't get it, and they get the ball, and the very first play they score. So, that's a 7-point turnaround based off of a costly penalty. And then I believe 2 other times we had the ball inside of the 30 that we end up throwing an interception on, and I believe going for a 4th down again and not getting it, or we had the second interception. I can't remember. But, if we execute a little bit better and, that's maybe a 1-score ball game, possibly even a tie ball game going into halftime. But, the biggest thing, I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of the way that they fought. I'm proud of just the way that they played hard, because that's what we ask them to do each and every week. And we mention it every week. It's probably sounding like a broken record by now, but it's just an observational fact. We are the youngest team that we've gone against yet. Or, in 4 games, everybody that we're playing outside of the Cab, I think the Cab had 6 or 7 seniors, but they had 15-plus juniors, I believe. Gornsville had 14 seniors. Liberty Creek had 20-something seniors, and then Macon County had like 17 seniors. So, it's just we are playing against older, more developed guys, more experienced guys. But each and every week, we're fighting, we're playing hard, we're getting better, we're developing, we're learning more about our team and more about our guys, what they can do, what they have a hard time doing, what some of them can't do. We're just trying to coach around that and trying to develop guys around those either limitations or just their specialties, their strengths. We're trying to find those guys' strengths and limit their weaknesses and how we can utilize more of that stuff week in and week out. And plus, our level of competition, regardless of classification, I don't know if anyone has played the schedule that we've played up to this point or even what we're going to play the rest of the year. I believe in our first 4 opponents, their win-loss record, I believe, is 15-3, something like that. Macon is 3-1. Liberty Creek's 2-2. Gornsville's 4-0. DeKalb's 4-0. And so my math might be wrong there, but 2 4-0 teams, a 3-1 team.
No, you're 15-3. You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
There you go. All right. That's why I'm not a math teacher, but and on top of that, Macon County, I believe, is in the top 10 in 4A. DeKalb is number 10 in 4A. Gornsville, I believe, is number 2 or number 4 in 1A. So, our level of competition is only going to make us better. And, we're playing bigger schools each and every week. we finally this week are playing our first region game. We get to finally play somebody our size, athlete wise, enrollment wise. And, it's just exciting to see what our guys can do against, the same level of competition. You want to win them all, and, you want to be able to compete each and every week. But what I'm saying is, even all of our scrimmages, and our jamboree, we played bigger schools, whether it was Sequatchie County, Watertown. And, our belief is that level of competition is only going to make us better, especially for as young as we are, towards the end of the season and also when we get into the playoffs. So I'm glad our guys are growing, developing, and getting better each and every week, because that's what you want to see out of a young team, and we are seeing that. And the biggest thing, like we said, we just got to be more consistent in our execution. When we're going back and watching film, there's just little bitty things that you expect from a young, inexperienced team. Whereas first play from scrimmage, we run buck sweep 28. We've been running that for 4 years since I've been here. We block it perfectly, but a bad snap, little low to the left, we mishandle it, we fumble it. So instead of maybe 1st and 10 on a 10-yard run, we get 1 yard of picking up a fumble snap. And then just little things like throughout the course of the game, we get a run play where we've got them out man to the play side, and our back cuts it backside. He misreads the play. So just little things like that are preventing big plays. But once again, you expect that out of inexperienced players. So the more they see it, the more experience they get, the more reps they get, they'll continually get better, and they'll continue to develop and grow. And that's what we want out of these guys. Only thing we ask right now, whether you're the most athletic team on the field or the fastest, strongest, or whatever, just play hard, play tough, play physical, and just give all you got. And that's what our guys are doing right now. And, that's what we're impressed with, and that's what we're excited to see, what our guys will actually look like against the same level of competition.
Well, Coach Dyer, for me, I'm going to come at you with a difficult question, a hard question. And, I think the effort is there. But what do we got to do to get the run game going? Because I know that's something that you want to do, is to run the ball. But what do we got to do to get the run game going?
That's what I mentioned before. It just comes down to lack of execution. There's times where we have huge holes to run through, but our quarterback or back might read it wrong. That's just lack of experience. A lot of people say, well, how hard is it to, run to an open area or whatever? Okay. Unless you've done it, when there's bullets flying everywhere, hey, as soon as you get the ball, you're just trying to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And, I can attest to that. I've been there before where, you tell a freshman back or whatever, but it's like, hey, you're reading that cat as soon as you get the ball. He's sitting there doing this because he sees bodies going everywhere. So, there's holes there. We're blocking things the way that we're supposed to block. But like I said, whether it's a bad snap here or a misread there, that's just comes down to lack of execution, lack of experience, to where, and I know it's frustrating because you're like, man, we got to run the ball. Especially I love to run the ball. I love how our run game can set up our pass game. And, we've seen 2 weeks now, we've thrown for over 150 yards, but a lot of that's been some yards after catch that we get the ball into our athletes' hands and they make plays with it. And that's what we try to do. But no, you're right. We've got to continue plugging away at our run game, and just continue repping, continue running the ball, and it will eventually click. But, once again, also, when you get behind, especially at our level, it's hard to continue to say, hey, we're just going to run the ball while we're down 2 scores. And the biggest thing is with a young defense, we're having problems stopping people right now. So it's like, well, what do you want to do? Do we need to try to throw it, pick up a chunk play, or continue to run into an 8-man box? And that's just the amount of people have played us. That's why we've been able to throw the ball so well. It's like they're going to play 8-9 guys against us, because in the past, that's what we've done. There's like, well, you're not going to run the ball. We're going to force you to throw the ball with a sophomore quarterback. And, eventually that's going to pay off for us. The better and more comfortable we get with our quick game, our boots, our waggles, it's going to open up our extended pass game down the field. And you've seen that the last few weeks. I think in the last 2 weeks, we've had 3 touchdown passes from Riley that have gone 50 plus. I think he had a 50 plus to Jermaine and White against Liberty Creek, and he had a 73-yarder to White against Macon. So that stuff, it's opening up, but it just all comes down to execution. Whether it's our passing game, receivers running the right routes, a quarterback making the right read, or on his rollout, getting the correct depth, or the running back blocking the edge. There's so many things that go into each play where I know it's frustrating because someone might see from stands like, well, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? It is.
Yeah.
There's so many intricate things that go into each play where, you got to make sure you get the backside cut off if he's blitzing off the edge, you're rolling away from him. You got to make sure the back gets the edge sealed if you're rolling to him. You got to make sure your guard gets pulled out into space if you're running a boot or waggle. You got to make sure you got your leveled routes, that you got your flat, you got your intermediate, your sail, your go, your fly, whatever. And they all have to be perfectly spaced. Their spacing has to be good on alignment to open up the routes and open up the throwing lane. So there's so many things that go into that, and especially with a sophomore quarterback who's truly only played the position for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I love Riley. He's a great athlete. He's a great quarterback, but he's still learning the position, and he's a heck of an athlete, And eventually people are going to have to quit saying, well, we're going to put 8-9 and test you to beat us with your arm, because he's about to burn some people doing that, like he did last year at the end of the year when I think he went 3 straight games throwing for over 200 yards, I believe, against Westmoreland, Monterey, and Forest. But in order for that to happen, yes, we do have to get our run game going. And it's just, Jaden, Caden, whoever the F is, Jermaine, our running back, they're just going to have to see the holes that are there. And, we're going to have to continue to do what we do and open up those run lanes and, make a guy miss, break a tackle. But, I get it. I'm there too. It's frustrating. You see it on film how close you are to busting a big play or finally getting it going. And then one little thing goes wrong, and we're just not experienced enough to take advantage of that. Where two guys might miss their block, and you got a running back who's, just good enough to where, like, that's okay. I'm going to run that guy over and run by that guy, so it don't matter if you didn't block it right. But we're not that experienced right now to where we can do that, where we've got to have every little thing right and for that play to be successful. And we'll get there. We'll continue plugging away. We'll continue growing, developing, and getting better at it. And I think this Friday night will be a great chance for us to do that with our first region game, a team our size, and just to see our guys gain a little bit more confidence in doing that.
Yeah, and before we shift gears to the Creek Bank this Friday night, man, I look at your stats right now, and I go through here and I look at your leaders for every game. You look at Caden Mason, freshman. You look at Riley Martin, sophomore. You look at Cole Hackett, sophomore. Gage Gibbs, sophomore. The youth and experience that you'll have is got to be a promising. It's got to be promising because these guys are getting valuable reps. And as me and Jonathan mentioned earlier, your first region game's this week. So we want to get better when we go into region play, and these guys getting these valuable reps only going to make you better.
It is, and like you said, it's all of our young guys are impact guys right now that are making these huge plays. Jermaine had to miss a lot of the week of practice this week with an illness, so we weren't able to get him as involved offensively. He's leading us in touches and receiving yards right now. But like you said, Caden Mason, Jaden Evans, our two leading rushers,
yep.
Wyatt Claywell, Cole Hackett, Gage Gibbs, a lot of those guys are catching a lot of balls right now. And just making a big impact, and they're getting more and more reps each week. You got Lucas Cornwell, who is starting at Y for the last 2 weeks. He's getting better each week. So, if you go through it, we let's see, you mentioned a few, but you got Cole Hackett, Lucas Cornwell, Gage Gibbs, Caden Mason, Ben Howe, Riley Martin.
You got Will Barnes at linebacker.
Colt Shoemake, Rustin Kemp. A lot of these guys are getting valuable reps. Gage Gibbs, he's another one. Okay. And I know I probably already mentioned I know we got plenty of them, but all those guys are getting such valuable reps right now. And even this week, we plan to continue to throw some more guys in to the mix with Julian Dillon. And, he's another sophomore who has done really well in practice. And we're going to give him a chance to show something this week on defense. So, yeah, it's very exciting to see these young guys get a lot of reps against, these older and bigger teams to where, that once they finally get a chance and they get in the groove, man, it's very exciting to see what they can do. And, our offensive line, their defensive line, they're getting a lot better, especially our offensive line with Eric Shaw, Paxton Hicks, Jay Howe, Mongo, and Bryson Halliburton. They're getting a lot better each week. And like I said, the holes are there. Our backs have just got to find them. But yeah, the youth that we have and the impact they're making, the experience they're gaining, especially, it's week 5 and we're just now playing our first region game. It's very exciting to see where these guys will end up at the end of the season. Cause I mean, we still have a great chance to win our region, even being 0-4. Like I said, with no region wins, our region is open up for the taking for anybody right now. And we've got a chance to really make some noise in region play and playoff time here in the next few weeks.
Well, coming off of that, Coach Dyer, traveling to the Creek Bank this week, speak to what you've seen from them and what do you expect this coming Friday night?
They're getting better each and every week. I know they're just like us. They're 0-3. Last week, I believe Republic had to cancel on them, so they didn't get to play that 4th game. But Coach Kyle Gregory, they're doing a really good job right now with that team because they're just like us. They're young, they're inexperienced. They're playing a lot of freshmen as well. But Kyle's doing a great job getting that team better each and every week. And, they got Coach Smith, Coach Edens, all those guys. And there's a few other guys on staff that I don't know. But they're good coaches. They're doing a great job. And just like any other Smith County Hartsville game, it's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a good game. So, I mean, I know everybody's like, well, you're 0-4, they're 0-3. It's not going to be it, but it is. You're going to see a lot of talented young athletes, 2 good programs going at it in a storage stadium down at the Creek Bank. Those Friday night lights down there are great. The atmosphere is going to be great. And somebody's going to come away with their first win. But you got a improving Hartsville team, and that's because Coach Gregory and them are doing a great job with them. They're doing it right. They're doing it how you should, developing, growing their talent, their guys, and they've shown improvement each week on film. And we're going to have to play our best. We're going to have to execute. We can't go into it thinking, well, they ain't won a game yet, and blah blah blah. It's like, well, we ain't won a game yet either. So you guys better buckle down and you better execute and play your game. And not think one bit that you're any better than those dudes in purple and gold, because they'll sneak up on you and they'll stick around for 4 quarters and they're going to fight. So we just got to match that intensity and match that physicality and go out and execute.
Well, Coach, once again, we appreciate you coming on with us every Sunday. Good luck to you this week. We hope we get on the winning track this week. We know you guys are going to work hard this week, go and get ready to go to the Creek Bank. Once again, thank you very much for coming on with us.
Thanks, Coach.
Johnson. Guys, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate what you do. Y'all doing a great job, man. Hey, thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach Dyer.
Have a good one.
Man, youth and inexperience, that's the tale of the story so far.
It is.
But again, you talk about those sophomores, you talk about those freshmen. They're getting better. They're getting more reps. The second half of the season is going to be really good for Smith County, I believe.
Yeah, I think so as well. So now, guys, special segment tonight. We want to actually, so we're going to start highlighting some of our local athletes as well. We want our local athletes to come on with us. And tonight, Jonathan has set us up. We've got the local Smith County High School golf team. We're going to go ahead and let them in. And Jonathan, if we'll let them in, and we'll start going with that.
Hey, Landon.
Hi.
And do we have Tatum? Hey, Tatum.
Hello.
So whichever one of you wants to go first, hey, want to thank you for coming on. Really appreciate this. Like Michael was saying, we're going to highlight some of the players on some of our local teams here. Just tell us a little bit. It doesn't matter which one of you goes first. Tell us a little bit about how your season's going.
You can go ahead.
Okay. I think the girls are doing pretty well. We're undefeated besides tying with one of the teams. So far so good.
So Landon, where all do y'all play? Where do you play? Like for me, where do you play your home matches? Of course, I grew up playing Green Hills, back in the day, and that was our home course. But where do y'all play most of your matches at?
Our home course is Golden Eagle in Cookeville.
Okay. When is the district start? When does that take place?
2 weeks.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was getting close because it's about to start turning cooler. So what is the outlook on that? How many teams now are in our district?
I want to say around 6 or 7, but considering we're undefeated right now, I think the outlook's going to be pretty well.
Do you
for
have
the
your
girls.
what's your average score right now? Do you know?
My average score is low 40s.
Wow.
My best score was a 37 so far.
That's awesome. Now, where'd you shoot your 37 at?
Golden Eagle.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Tatum, how's your season going?
It's been going pretty good so far. It's best one so far, and the team, our boys team as a whole, has been doing pretty good. I think it's the best we've done, at least while I've been in high school, and according to Coach C, it's the best we've had in quite a while.
So who all is on the team, Tatum, for the boys? And Landon, I'll ask you the same question. Who are all the boys players?
We have there's me, Aiden Elliott, Cody Wyndham, Dave Harville, Nathan Massey, and Tucker Paget, and Dawson Gentry. So I believe there's maybe 9, I think, or
There's,
something
I
like
think,
that.
10 of us.
10?
There's 10
Is it
in
10?
total. Hmm
Yeah.
And Landon, who all is on the girls team?
It's me, Ava West, and Ashlyn Glover.
Okay. So Tatum, how's your scoring going this year? What's your average?
Well, I had a couple matches in there that were not too great, and then I smoothed it out, so it kind of probably buffs my scoring average a little bit. But I'd say it's right around mid 40s right now.
That's good. Well, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah, that is great, Tatum. I know, Tatum, you're a senior, and Landon, what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Oh, and Landon, you probably don't know this, but I've known your family really well, and I've hung out with your Uncle Jeff a lot in my time. We used to spend the night together and stuff like that. But hey, congratulations on you guys for having a great year and to play golf. I think to be on the golf team is something great. Because everybody can't play golf, right? And you guys are doing it and you're excelling at it. So congratulations so far on a great year. And I'm looking forward to what you guys do. And I look at it every week on Facebook. I know your mom Lori posts, and Tatum, I see some of your posts as well. I love seeing what you guys are doing, and congratulations so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do either of you have any aspirations of, from my perspective, back in the day, I played golf collegiately, and I know a lot of you don't know that because I'm old, but what do either one of you have aspirations of playing golf, in college?
You can go first.
I thought about it, but I realized like there's places I want to go to school, and I didn't really start playing early enough to like be good enough to go to a great school or a bigger school. I mean, to play golf at anyway. And so I'm just kind of at this point, I'm just trying to do the best I can this season and see maybe if we can make it to state, and that'd be my goal right now. And I don't think I'm going to play in outside high school and college or anything, but I definitely enjoy it a lot.
Good. For you, Landon?
I'm just going to see the outlook of it. If I get in a scholarship or if I don't, I'm going to be happy either way. So I'm just going to keep playing for a while. So.
And Tatum, you talked about the state tournament there. For me, somebody that I don't really know, where do you guys play your state tournament at? When does that start? You got to qualify? Do you automatically get there? How does that work for you guys?
Well, you can go for the state anyway. You can go either as a team or individual, whichever. So, like if your team's good enough, you can go as a team. But maybe if you have just like a better player, then it may just be where the one individual goes. For like qualifying for it, it starts at the district which will be at Cedar Crest this year in Murfreesboro. And then it'll be, I believe, I think we take the top 2 players off of our boys team to go to the region. And the region's at Cedar Crest also. So, and then it'll go, like, if you qualify from region, whether your score is low enough then to qualify for state. So.
And Landon, do y'all play at Cedar Crest too?
Oh yeah, we all play at the same place. And last year I went to state. I got first district and region. And I believe we take the top 2 teams and the top 5 individuals for both.
I think it sounds right. And that's in, is it still in Sevierville?
Oh, yes.
Well, I know from my perspective, that's our one claim to fame in Smith County High School. We got Brent Long that won the state there, and he went as an individual as well. We just missed out. I still burns me a little bit that we didn't make the state as a team, but
yeah, and you look at that. You look at Gornsville, with Sophie Linder, who actually won the state 4 times, and I'm sure Landon, aspirations to do that as well on the Smith County side. So that's great to see where golf is taking some of the young folks that don't play other sports. And I love golf. Am I good at it? No, I'm not any good at it. Jonathan can attest to it that I'm not any good, but I love to play. And congratulations once again to you guys for having an outstanding year and what you've done so far in your high school careers.
Yes, and from my perspective, guys, hey, keep getting the word out. We're doing this podcast to try to build a little more interest, and we would love to build interest in the golf team as well. Coming from somebody that played and knows and has some feelings about it, I want to see our golf programs get better and us get back to winning regions, winning states. And Landon, congratulations to you for making it to state last year. Yeah. Best of luck to both of you on the rest of the season, and maybe we have you back on if in the future.
Yes, thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We'll let you go now. Once again, as Jonathan mentioned, if you guys get to the state, we're definitely going to have you guys back on, and we want to talk about it some more. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Really, really happy to have them on and discuss. Golf is my passion, as most of you know. And I know what it's like to be there. And, you sometimes at this time of year, we all want to talk about football. That's the talk. But I want to get the talk going to other sports, just like, we want to highlight everything. And that's just what we want to do here.
It is, and congratulations to those guys. Golf, and of course, Jonathan, is easy for you than it ever been easy for me. But, golf is a tough sport. And, we talked about this last week, Jonathan, and you're not playing anybody. You're playing yourself and you're playing the course, so it's all you and what you can accomplish on your own. And I think these guys are excelling at it. And we speak about Sophie Linder, who won the state 4 years in a row and now playing at Ole Miss, so congrats to these guys, man. It's just great to see.
And to win the state 4 years in a row for Sophie, that's an accomplishment that, I looked at some of the history of that, and that's a feat that's not been done too many times.
Yeah. So once again, we had a great episode tonight. We had our coaches on. We had a couple athletes tonight. Next week is a really special night for me and Jonathan. We're going to give the coaches a week off next week. We're going to focus solely on student athletes next week. We're going to have a couple from Smith County High School football. We're going to have a couple from Gornsville High School football to come on. I can't wait to get these on. And then we're also going to have some Gornsville softball signees come on next week. We can't wait to get these guys on because we want to really promote the student athletes as well. We talk to the coaches. We concentrate on the coaches and the programs and where they're doing and what they're going. But we really need to highlight these student athletes too. So we're going to bring these student athletes on. And now, Jonathan, I'm sure you echo what I'm saying. But here, I can't wait till next week's episode.
Yes, I'm looking very forward to it. That's you get the coach's perspective, and you get a lot of coach speak, and that's great. That's wonderful because we want to hear, what they have to how to feel and everything. But to get the players' perspective and to get them on, I'm super excited for next week's episode. Yeah,
I can't wait. It's going to be a great episode, and I'll be coming to you live from Orange Beach, so I won't be here in my studio, as I call it. So I'll be live from Orange Beach. Coach Barker will still be there in his home office there to do it. But I'm so looking forward to it, And once again, we talked about earlier, and we can't forget to do about our T-shirt giveaway. So we talked about earlier, guys. We have over 500 followers now. Kudos and thank you so much for following our podcast. We love doing this. We talked about it when we got on before we went live, how much fun we're having doing this podcast. We hope you guys enjoy it. We hope you guys go back and watch it and keep liking, commenting, and sharing and share this out, guys. We're trying to reach that 1,000 follower mark, where Jonathan's going to give away a great gift card, so we're going to bring some more interesting stuff to our program. We're going to bring a producer on. We're talking to Matthew Enyard, who's going to come on and do some behind the scenes work for us as well, because we want to keep building on this. We're having such a good time, and we're in 5 weeks already, Jonathan. And I don't know for you, but for me, it's went so fast. 5 weeks in, it's been so fast for me. It's
been a flash, but again, I'm enjoying it. We hope you guys are. When I'm out and about I was at Safeway today, and somebody was asking me about the podcast. They said, "Are you doing it tonight?" I said, "Absolutely." And if you can't watch it live, you can go back and watch it. We don't yet have the ability to share it from our actual Dugout Dads Facebook page. We have to wait 60 days, but we're getting to that limit. Of course, Michael, it's coming live from his page, but go back and watch it. But again, I'm having a blast doing this. I'm looking forward to what we've got in store for the future, and just very excited to have Matt coming on to be a producer. And sky's the limit for me, guys. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, and, we're also going to have on Coach Chuck Gentry is going to come on with us. We're going to talk to him in the next couple of weeks. We're going to bring on some more outside local coaches that have, maybe have some Smith County ties, and we want to keep building on this, as we mentioned. And, we talk about the sponsorship again, guys. We're looking for segment sponsorships all the time. Reach out to myself or Jonathan. Once again, we want to thank Infinity Promotions for being the sponsorship for our weekly recaps. Our score recap every week is now an Infinity Promotions weekly recap. So thank those guys for coming on and being that sponsor. As I mentioned, go out to their website. I've talked about it earlier. Go out to the website for all your school and personal gear for embroidery and screen printing. Reach out to Steven and his crew, and they can fix you up. And if you want to be a sponsor of one of our segments here, guys, reach out to us. We're looking for it. We want to keep building on this and bring you guys, a lot of information. Hopefully that you guys are enjoying.
Yes. And stay tuned, because we are going to do a T-shirt giveaway. I think we run a little long today, so we may do that a little bit later.
So what we'll do with the T-shirt giveaway, we'll go live tomorrow night. It may be after the middle skate. We'll go live Tuesday night. Actually, let's go live Tuesday night. We'll go live Tuesday night, and we'll give away our free T-shirt on Tuesday night. Once again, to our over 500 followers, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We do appreciate that. We asked you to get us to 500, and you guys got us to 500, So now we're trying to get to that 1,000 mark. So keep liking, commenting, and sharing if you don't care. And once again, Jonathan, thank you for coming on. Episode 5 in the books. Great episode tonight. We're looking forward to coming back on next Sunday with you guys live at 7 o'clock, where our skills are questionable,
but our spirit is unstoppable.